Welcome to the Elite BSC podcast, where our entire focus is helping commercial janitorial contractors succeed. You want a growing company, a thriving team, and healthy profits, and we are here to help. My name is Jordan Tong. I'm the founder of Elite BSC, a company dedicated to helping janitorial companies grow and thrive. I also serve as CEO and one of the owners of France Building Services. France is a janitorial company employing nearly 600 people. Since 2007, we grew from 1.5 million to more than 20 million in annual revenue and built what I think is one of the best teams in the world. The goal of Elite BSC and this podcast is to give owners in the industry a vision of where their company can be and the information and tools to get there. I want to share what I have learned over the years to make this a reality for you. Hey, it's Jordan here with Elite BSC podcast. So the last two episodes, we have been working our way through 5 different questions that are asked by Peter Drucker in a book titled The 5 Most Important Questions You Will Ever Ask About Your Organization. This book was originally part of a workbook that Drucker put together that was aimed at helping nonprofits, but the applications are certainly much wider than nonprofits and extend over into just business in general and in particular in the cleaning industry, which is sort of our niche here in what we're talking about. So the first 2 questions that we covered in previous podcast episodes are, number one is, what is the mission? Like, what is our mission? And so we could sort of break that down into like what's the purpose of our organization and our values, and that was what we discussed the first question on this theme here. The second one that we answered in last week's podcast episode was, who is our customer? This is really just clarifying and outlining like who is it that we serve, and also knowing that there are primary customers that we serve, which is the end user of our service, which is going to be the client. So it's going to be a school or a manufacturing plant or office building or whatever. But then also locating who are the people within that customer that are our customers. And then also supporting customers. So this is going to be like for us in our industry, is going to be our team members. Like the cleaners and managers that work for us are also customers. They're supporting customers or secondary customers, and they help us in the process of serving our primary customer, but they certainly are involved in that. And in a nonprofit situation, this might be donors or volunteers or that sort of thing. So the question that we're going to be asking in this episode is, what is the customer value? Now, this is it's a question that we all think that we have an answer to, and we often make assumptions on our end, and we don't ask the customer. And Peter Drucker says this question, what do customers value, what satisfies their needs, wants, and aspirations, is so complicated that it can only be answered by customers themselves. Leadership should not even try to guess at the answers, but should always go to the customer in a systematic quest for those answers. What is the customer value may be the most important question, yet often the least asked. And I think he's right. Like, as I look at my own company and the way we've operated, and I've done this even with Elite BSC as we're thinking about other small business owners in our industry. Like, I make assumptions about what people want and what they value, and then I begin to build products or services around what I think the customer values. And we rarely go and actually ask the customer, what is it that you want? What is it that you value? And so I think one of the first tasks for us as leaders of our companies is to go and ask specifically, what is it that our key customers want? What is it that they value? Now, initially, we're going to ask this question, and people are going to say things like, a clean building is what we want. Or, I want my floors to look good and to not get any complaints. maybe a reason. But there are other things I think that are a little bit higher up the need chart that people have that we have to dig a little bit for. Because I think at the end of the day, a clean building certainly is something that they want. But there's something beyond that they're looking for. And maybe no complaints is part of that. But maybe it goes a bit deeper. So you could ask questions. I think it was Simon Sinek that talks about the 5 whys. And so you start asking why. Okay, like what do you value, Mr. Customer? Well, a clean building would be what I value. And then you could ask, well, why is that? Can you help me understand why that's important to you? Why would it be important that your cleaning vendor leaves you with a good finished product that is a clean building in your eyes? And then they might tell you, like, hey, when that happens, there's less stress for me because I don't have people complaining. There's not additional things for me to have to do. And then maybe I look good in the process because I've selected a good vendor and I'm overseeing this. And so you start to dig underneath the surface level answers to start seeing, like, hey, this customer wants peace of mind. They want stress-free dealing with vendors. They want to know this stuff is being taken care of. And so when we think about what they value, a clean building might be one of those things. Background checked employees might be one of those things. Inspections might be one of those things that they value. But I would suggest that there's other deeper needs there that we need to unearth what they are so that we can get a better idea of what the customer is wanting. So the next, so we ask, okay, well, what does the customer value? We go out and actually ask the customer these questions. So I would encourage you to go out literally and go to your best customers and sit down and ask these questions to them. I think you could submit something to them in writing, but I think if you can do it in person and you can probe a little bit, I think that you're going to get some honesty there that may be illuminating to you. And trust me, I know sometimes it's better just to, like, we don't want to ask questions that we don't want answers to. And I get that. But I think this is something you should do with your customers. I mean, go in with a structured set of questions and ask them what they think and really spend some time trying to dig in and understand them and get underneath what they're thinking and saying. Now, this is true of primary customers, but what Drucker encourages us to do is to do the same for our supporting customers. So for us, I think this is going to be our team members. And by team members, on this particular question, I'm thinking our field managers and the cleaners that work for us. And we want to know what it is that they value. So you might think, okay, a job or a paycheck, making a fair wage. But I suspect that when you dig in on that's certainly going to be part of it. But there are going to be other things like stability, feeling like they're a part of something, opportunity for growth, being around people that care about them. I mean, we could probably go through a whole list of things. And so you start getting an idea of, all right, we're in the cleaning business. We hire workers to go perform this product, and we're trying to deliver clean buildings that make customers satisfied. Okay, that's roughly high level what we're doing. But now we're starting to get more specific answers to questions that are going to help us differentiate ourselves from our competition. So, and I'll maybe give you a little bit of a case study here. I was just meeting with someone today so I serve on the board of an organization called Friends of Sinners, and it's a Christian-based drug rehab or substance abuse facility. And it's a residential program. And so clients come in the program, they've either been in jail and they get let out to go into a program, or maybe they self-admit because they're dealing with addiction issues and need help. And so we have staff, a small staff, but we have staff and we have programming that they go through, and we have to raise money. And so, we're thinking about mission and vision, and we're starting to ask some of these questions that Drucker asks about the organization. And, our primary customers are the clients that have been struggling with substance abuse. But then we have a lot of supporting customers, so family members of those clients and donors and volunteers that come in, the court system and the jails. So we have a lot of people interacting and touching on the program. And, it's easy for us to assume, okay, what is our customer value? Well, they want to be sober and get their life back. Okay, that certainly is probably very much a part of what they're thinking. But they're human beings, and they have a lot more going on that they're looking for. And there's a lot of reasons why maybe they ended up in substance abuse. A lot of things that contributed to the spot that they're in. And they want help with some of those too. And one of our jobs is going to be to figure out what that is, and so we can cast good vision and direction for the organization and structure our program in such a way that we're meeting those needs. And then the perceived value from not only clients, primary clients, but also the supporting clients will grow over time, and that's our hope with the organization, in addition to making an impact that actually matters. So I know in the cleaning business, it's not something perhaps on the surface that is as noble as helping people in recovery. But there are certain things, we're dealing and serving people, and there are certain things people value. And the more we can understand what those things are that people value, both our primary customers and our team members, the more we're going to be able to structure our operation and our goals and our objectives and what is important and our marketing pitch and everything that we do. We'll be able to center that around what those things are that our primary and supporting customers value. So understanding what they value well is the first step, and then applying what we've learned to our operational processes will help us execute on that so that the customer is now getting more of that value that they're looking for. So the perceived value of your organization and what you're doing for them starts to grow in their eyes, and in part because you've been intentional about understanding what it is that they value and making it a point to execute on that. And so, I think this is so simple. Like it's so obvious. Like when I say it, I almost think, why am I even saying this on here? Sort of like Dave Ramsey saying, hey, don't spend all your money and don't go into debt. Well, geez, the guy's made tens of millions of dollars saying something so easy and simple. But we all miss it so often. And I think it's true here. We get caught up in all the stuff that we do and a little bit of ivory tower syndrome and thinking we know best and et cetera. And we don't actually sit down with the customer and say, and ask them these hard questions, and then take them to heart and reshape what we're doing in response to those answers. So I think if we went through this exercise in our company, we'd see some things, and I think it would help us in a lot of areas. And I'll close with this. We've been asking this question as we're thinking about the sales process. And one of the things that we do at Elite BSC is help folks with their marketing and establishing ideal clients and building lists and marketing to those prospects. And one of the things that we're always having to deal with in our industry is, okay, how do I differentiate myself from somebody else? How do I communicate a message or make myself attractive to a prospective customer? And I think in order to do this well, we have to know what customers are looking for. Like, what do they value? And when we host our sales workshops, Jeff spends an entire session on this particular point, like what customers actually value, using this value pyramid that Bain & Company put out. So anyway, I think this is super critical, super helpful, and I'm going to be honest, most of us, myself included, have not done a good job with this. And so I'd encourage you to dig in, ask hard questions, face reality, and then let this shape your organization. And I think you're going to be better off for it. So this is part 3, question number 3. We've got 2 more to go. And excited to tackle those, and I'm excited to see some of the impact that this might have. So we'll see you next time. If you found the information in this podcast helpful, please like and subscribe on whatever podcast platform that you're using. If you would like more resources or help to grow your cleaning company, head over to elitebsc.com. We have loads of articles, videos, free tools, coaching options, and a lot more. If your company is greater than $500K in revenue and you want to take your learning experience to the next level, check out our mastermind group. You can learn more about that at elitebsc.com/mastermind.